tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Waiting in the studio to be profiled is Michael Vartan and CC Pulitzer, two young actors you'll want to watch. I think they're going places fast. But who am I to say? You decide. Cece has landed a recurring role in NBC's The Good Life. As a native of New Orleans, she first moved to New York for theatrical training, and she got a lot of on-the-job training, didn't you?
Yes, I did, actually.
What was it? What did you do that was so wonderful about moving to New York?
Well, right away when you first start going on auditions and you book things, you learn it right as you're doing it. So I did an AT&T industrial where I learned how to work with a monitor on the set. And it's right on the camera, but you have to read it and get everything organized. And then I did some theatrical stuff off Broadway, which was wonderful, and the audience is great, but it's definitely on the job training.
Did you act in New Orleans before you went there, or in school, or?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I also modeled a bit, but I didn't really do a whole lot of acting in college. I waited till after.
So, but when you went to New York, you knew that's what you wanted to do.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Did you study?
Oh, I did. I found some really wonderful teachers. I studied with Freddie Karaman in Carnegie Hall, and he was fabulous. It was Meisner. And it was great because being from New Orleans, you're really prim and proper, and you're sort of brought up to be very well behaved. You don't, ever pick your nose or do anything silly.
Oh, well, you mean other people do that?
Well, when you're acting, you have to be free enough to do anything. And
oh, maybe that's difficult, isn't it?
If you can pick your nose, you can act. Well, it's not quite that easy,
no,
but
not quite. So you took coaching.
I did. I took classes with him, and also Stephen Jobs, who works with a lot of Broadway actors, and then also Stephen Strimpell, who was at HB, which is where I think everybody starts when they get to New York.
So you really did do a lot of training.
Yeah, I did.
And then what happened? How'd you get into this off-Broadway productions?
I just auditioned. I think I just kind of threw myself out there. I didn't really think there was any reason I couldn't do it, so I just did, and I did.
Was it easier to learn in the actual process, or was it easier to learn from your coaches?
I guess I'd have to say both, because when I was doing it actually, I had to learn things quickly, and I didn't know what I needed to know, and it helped me understand things that I would need to learn. And then what I was working on in class, I could also apply. So I think they really worked well together.
And were you doing both of them at the same time?
Absolutely.
Oh, you were, so it did continue.
Yeah, oh, yes, absolutely. I think I'll always take some kind of class. It's just, it gives you that sort of wake-up that you need, so when you're ready to really perform, you're just warmed up and ready to go.
Did they try to take your Southern accent away?
In New York, I never spoke with a Southern accent unless it was needed.
You didn't?
No.
Well, how'd you get rid of it?
I took voice lessons, so I can get rid of it completely.
Or you can just be as sugar sweet as you can?
Yeah, it's easier for me to talk with it, but there's no reason not to. I can go in and out of it really easily.
Really?
Because in New York, if you speak with a Southern accent, they think you're kind of stupid, or they think you're slow, or they think that you're really limited to what you can do as an actress. They think, well, she can't be anything but Southern.
She has no experience.
Yeah, all of that.
But
so
it's almost
helps.
in a way when you said, we're brought up to be so proper. I think you hear that Southern accent and you think that there's restrictions on your life or on your person, maybe.
I think that's very true. So I don't think anybody ever knew, like casting directors never knew I was Southern until after we would get to know each other and I'd be working. And then we'd go to dinner, we'd go to lunch, and I'd sort of hang back and be Southern. They'd be like, Cece, where'd that Southern accent come from? I go, oh, well, I'm Southern.
This is the real me.
Yeah, yeah. But as long as they didn't know it in advance, they didn't really worry about it. Although I did have one director for my first equity play who was so wonderful, and I went for the callback, and he said, now, Cece, I really like you, and I might bring you back in for the final callback, but could we get rid of that little twinge of Southern accent I hear? And I was like, Of course, thinking, oh my goodness, I didn't think anybody noticed. And I did. I really worked hard, and I actually got the part.
Oh, that was great.
So
Tell me about Cece. What does that mean?
It stands for Cindy Copeland.
Yay!
Which is, yeah, my grandmother's maiden name was Copeland.
That's a
so
great
that's my middle
name.
name. Thank
Cindy
you.
Copeland. Why
Thank
did you ever think of using that?
Well, my maiden name is Pulitzer, so it's Cindy Copeland Pulitzer. And I don't know, I guess I started getting called Cece really young because there were 4 Cindys in my class, and so we all got nicknames, so I became Cece.
Is Pulitzer part of the Pulitzer family?
Interestingly enough,
Yeah.
all my life, my mother always said, she said, they are the Pulitzers, and we are just the Pulitzers. And remember that, darling. And so I did. I always said, no, I'm just one of the Pulitzers.
The
Pulitzers.
Instead of the.
Exactly. But about, gosh, I guess it was 10 years ago now, they sent us an invitation to the family reunion with a big family tree that was very long, and we were on one of the little twigs on the left. So we're related.
So you found yourself.
I found myself.
Did you go to the reunion?
Actually, I didn't. I was still in school.
Where was it?
It was in St. Louis.
Oh, that's where the family is. Well, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad, because the name is great.
Thank you.
And I think people probably are drawn to it just out of curiosity.
I think so. I worked hard for it.
What brought you to Los Angeles?
Work. My agent was out here, actually, and she called me up about, I guess this time last year, and she said, Cece, you get on a plane and you come out here. And I said, but, and she said, Cece, if you come out, you'll work. So I did.
And you did get work. One of the things, we know you have a recurring role on this TV.
The Good Life.
The Good Life. So you do want, and we have a clip from it.
Oh,
and then
great.
we'll talk some more about what got you to The Good Life and what you're going to do afterwards.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about your role.
Well, Drew Carey plays Drew, and he's a kind of interesting looking man, and you wouldn't expect him to have a really pretty girl on his arm. I don't know what you'd expect, but anyway, so he has me as his girlfriend, and we're going to see a play together.
And that's what we're going to see now?
And that's what we're going to see.
Okay, good. The Good Life.
Hey, man. I'd like you to meet Lynette, Georgia Peach. Hi. Can I ask you something? What do you see in this guy?
Drew, why, looks just like a professional bowler.
Shall we hit the lanes?
Oh, Drew.
Who came back to from New York and thought, as a snob, you wouldn't do TV?
No, actually, I have always loved TV.
Oh, good.
I really have. I think that I don't have any problem with TV. I think it's great.
Good.
So
how did you did you come to do film or did you come to do TV?
I think I came to do both. I don't think they have to be exclusive of one another at all. I think that, especially now, people are really less, I guess, snobby about it. They seem to be much more open-minded that you can go from television to film and then back again. So I would like to do both.
I saw this funny thing on and funny because here we are on cable, that you did a cable show in Alhambra,
I did.
Pasadena. I mean, I know where Alhambra and Pasadena is, but do other people?
I don't think so.
What did you do?
I was, we would go around to the areas on our show and show people what was happening in their area. So we would meet the store owners, and if there was like a festival coming to town, we would talk with the people, and it was really a lot of fun. And around there, they all know me now.
And that was your show?
It was my show. I co-hosted it with Will Bowers.
And what was it called?
The 30-Minute Shopper.
Oh, it was. That was great.
It was a lot of fun.
And from shopping, did you do commercials?
I did do commercials. I've done several commercials. I don't know if I should say because
I don't know.
Well, AT&T, Gyne-Lotrimin, several others. I did Paragon Cable and Manhattan Cable. I did VH1 spots. I don't remember. There are a few others.
You said you would always want to go to school and always train. Do you sing or do you dance?
I do sing. I've never really sung except for a little bit in different parts in plays, but I've never really done a musical professionally.
Have you taken lessons?
Yes, I have. So at some point or another, if a role called for it, I would love it.
And what about dancing?
I danced for years.
Oh, you did?
My mother took me to ballet school when I was 3 years old because my cousin was in ballet school and she was 5 years old. But everything she did, I had to do. It didn't matter if I was younger or not. And my teacher used to hit you on she called your derriere the pom-pom. And she'd rap you on your behind because you were supposed to tuck it in. And I was so scared of her with her stick that I spent the first class crying in the closet. And so my mother came to pick me up and she said, you know, was my daughter wonderful? And she said, your daughter spent the whole time in the closet crying. Please don't bring her back. But anyway, I did go back and I ended up being pretty good.
The other thing that I noticed was that you've taken dialect classes, I guess speech classes.
Yeah.
What do you call them exactly?
Well, I guess they're dialects. It was just something that was offered. What I really do is I listen to things now on tape in the car, now that I'm in Los Angeles and I drive a lot.
Because I was going to say, one of your specialties is a British accent, from this Southern accent to a British accent or an Irish accent.
Yeah.
How do you get into it?
Well, let's see. The Irish accent is a little easier for me because I did 2 plays when I came out here that were Irish.
Ah.
So and I worked on it a bit.
Just listen?
Yeah, I think I have a good ear for it.
Did you go to Ireland?
No, I've never been to Ireland, but I would love to go. I would. I heard it's just beautiful, so I really would like to get there one day.
And the British?
That's harder for me. I haven't done it in a while.
Oh, but you did study those.
I did.
When you auditioned for, say, The Good Life, were you up against other friends?
I didn't really know anybody there. I recognized some of the girls, but I'm still sort of new in town, so I don't know that many people. It's not like in New York where every time you go to an audition you go, oh, hi everybody, because you know everybody. It's the same types all the time.
Yeah, that's what I wondered. Yeah. So
yeah.
are you seeing these same people
now
all the time?
I'm starting to. There are certain people that I do see occasionally.
So is there a type, or do you think you could play any?
Well, I think right now the way I feel like they're typing me is really kind of like just a brunette. I don't feel like they've kind of narrowed me down into something else. They're allowing me to do comedy, which I'm really glad about, and I've done a lot of drama, so I feel like they're pretty open still with me.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you are your friends in show business, or are your friends outside of the field?
I guess there's a mix, because I know some people here that before I got here that aren't actors and actresses, and I actually have some good friends that are from New Orleans now that are coming out here that are acting.
Oh,
so it's kind of nice, both.
Before we leave the set, before you leave the set, because I have to stay here for Michael Vartan and talk to him, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Where do I see myself in 10 years? Well, I'd like to see myself with a regular TV show and doing films.
Well, we hope you'll do it, and we think
Thank
you will.
Thanks
for
you very
being
much,
with
Joan,
us.
for having me here.
Don't go away. Michael Vartan will be back on the set with us. Hi, we're back with actor Michael Vartan, who made his international acting debut in the Taviani brothers film Fioreal. Although he was raised in the States, he spent the last 3 years working in Europe. He's fluent in English and French. But Michael, didn't you have to speak Italian in this movie?
No, actually I spoke French in the movie, and the reason they chose, because I wanted to do it in English, since I knew that, the Italians dub everything anyway, so.
Anything and everything?
Right, so I thought, well, if you're going to dub it anyway, can I do it in English? It'll help my career in America. And they said, no, French is so similar to Italian, just for, the mouth movements, and as far as the dubbing, the language, it was more suitable. I mean, a lot of words are similar in both languages.
Oh, well, you fooled me, because I thought Massimo...
The guy did a good job, better than I would have ever done in it.
You play Jean, a Frenchman, and Massimo, an Italian.
Right.
So I thought, oh, his bio says he speaks 2 languages fluently. He really speaks 3.
Actually, just English and French.
When you worked in Europe with different directors, would they direct in English or French or Italian, or what was the language of the set?
Well, so far this is the first non-French film I've made.
Oh,
Meaning, so most of the films I've done in Europe were in France, so, more times than not, it was a French-speaking crew and director and set, so it's basically French. And actually, this film was very funny, because there was a scene, for instance, where I was saying my lines to a girl who only spoke Italian, So I was speaking in French to a girl who didn't understand, and she was speaking to a guy who spoke German and didn't understand what we were saying. And we had to, learn the other person's lines in German. And
oh, you read them and learned them, and then
just
when they were speaking,
just to know what they were telling me, because I had no idea what this German guy was telling me.
Why? Where were you born, and why are you so fluent in
Well, I was born in
languages?
France because my mother's American and my father was French. So I was lucky I didn't have to learn French. I didn't speak anything till I was 6 because my mom would speak to me in English and my dad in French. And what are they talking about? But slowly but surely I got pretty, fluent in both. And you think I would have learned maybe a third one? Nah, too lazy.
Were they in show business?
My mother wasn't. My mother lives here now. She's a painter. She's an artist, fine art.
I see.
And my father actually moved from Bulgaria to France when he was in his early 20s to be a jazz trumpetist.
Oh,
and
really?
so then, his career moved on a little. He did a few scores for films, and now he's writing.
Did you ever think of going into their professions rather than acting? How did acting come about then?
Actually, to be honest with you, acting is the last thing on earth I wanted to do, because seeing, I have a famous aunt who lives in France, and her son's a musician, and it's a big showbiz family in France.
Tell us her name, because
her name
I
is
know.
Sylvie Vartan.
She was a very big.
She still is actually over there.
still.
Still has a lot of an incredible legion of faithfuls. But
Did she influence you?
no, not at all. If anything, I wanted to just be as far away from showbiz as possible. I wanted to be just a painter like my mother, because I quit school when I was too young to get any sort of acceptable diploma or anything. And then I moved here, and my mom said, "Why don't you just join an acting class? You'll meet people your own age." I mean,
Is that right?
what an excuse!
I know. What a break-in.
Oh God! So I did, and I actually thought to myself at first, well, this is easy, it's fun, and I can make a lot of money. So.
And is it easy and fun?
I found out. It's been 6 years now. It's very hard, and I'm no longer in it for the money, and it's very hard.
What was the first break? Did you have your first break here, or was it in Europe?
No, actually the first break I've ever had was this Taviani film.
Is that right?
That is the biggest as far as, just as far as, first of all, the size of the part I played and just the nature of the film.
Did you take acting lessons in Europe
No,
when you went?
I studied here.
You just studied
Yeah,
acting
studied
here.
here.
Did you go to a lot of acting classes?
I went to about 3.
And then when you went to Europe, you were already ready to work.
I still don't think I'm ready to work as far as, acting is such a strange profession where you learn all the time. So, I've learned more actually working than I have studying.
Have you done any stage work?
No, never. I'm terrified. I'm waiting till I really feel, the confidence of a bull to get on stage.
What do you think is the difference? Why do you think?
Well, to me, it's very simple. It's because on stage, if something goes wrong, that's it. In a film, you just cut and do it again. On a film set, I am never nervous, except maybe the first hour, and then I'm just relaxed because I know that.
Is your memory great? Do you memorize your lines, and are you prepared?
I'm pretty
and
good
all
with
that?
lines. I think I have maybe a bit of a photographic memory.
Well, then, so stage should be easy.
Yeah, but it's not so much the it's more the even in an acting class, the energy you feel acting in front of people is so different than for a camera. But just knowing that maybe I'd be in a room, 100 people, and it's opening night. Blah, 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 blah.
Do you go to opening nights of your films?
No.
So you don't have to do blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Who is that person? We don't
Exactly.
recognize him. We have a clip from For Real.
Okay.
So I saw the movie. I love the
Right.
movie. And as I said, you play. Well, you tell us who you play. I don't have to tell you.
You mean in this clip?
No,
or just in
who
general?
you play in general.
Well, it's a film that takes place over 200 years, over a period of from the Napoleon's invasion in Tuscany till actually today. Forgot there for a minute. And so the first character is a French lieutenant in the army, 17.
Very
80 years.
young.
Very young, very idealistic, a hero full of wonderful thoughts in his mind, changing the world and all.
And looks like you, kind of a little scruffy beard.
Right. Right. Well, it was me.
It was you. Oh.
And the second character is actually his grandson. 100 years in World War II, 1942.
In the 40s, yeah.
Right. And so it's just the same family. I'm just playing his great-grandson 100 years later.
But you're an Italian in this
Right,
part,
in the
right?
second part.
So that's what confused me a little bit. I had to go back and say, now, what happened? How did he become
Right,
Italian?
because what happened is this French soldier,
marries an Italian.
well, actually just has a one in the hay affair with a Tuscan farm girl.
Beauty.
Yes, and she has me. Well,
Right. I
him.
figured it out. I
Okay.
figured it out.
They don't know what we're talking about.
I knew exactly what was going on. We're going to show a clip,
Okay.
and we're going to show the Massimo, the Italian clip, and you're not speaking Italian.
Well, whoever was did a good job.
Okay.
It's not me.
All right.
Non devi piangere per me. Perché sei venuta?
Ma non piango mica per te. Ti è tornata la voce.
Che significa non piango per te? Per chi allora?
Io morirò di paura se mi costringe a rimanere qui sotto le bombe.
Dov'è questo rifugio?
È lì.
È difficile voler bene a uno come me.
Aspetta,
Che c'è?
siamo in tanti a volerti bene. Mi hanno detto di darti questo libro.
Well, what was that kind of a kiss?
That's, I guess that's Europe. I don't know. I mean, the French have a reputation of being so, extroverted and not shy about things like that at all. But this kiss was, I think it was more on the actress's request, actually, that I
Oh, please.
kept my lips to myself and made it very,
Very long.
yes, but very sort of, as you noticed, there are no tongues, and
No, but it's
a
like
proper kiss.
It's a proper kiss. When you worked with the Taviani brothers, who are just legend, I think. I mean, they really make great movies. Do they work in tandem?
Actually, they have a very strange style, because what they do is they alternate. One of them will direct one shot, and then they'll set up for the next shot, and the next one will come and direct that shot. And I thought, God, what a strange way to But then through the course of the film, I realized that there was a pattern where Paolo would direct more of the scenes where maybe there was a little more violence or intensity and action, whereas Vittorio would do the scenes where there was more, sensitivity and maybe delicate emotions,
Really? So
Yeah.
you could start picking up
Yeah.
what it was?
At first, I was shocked. I thought, God, what is this?
And
It's
how do you
just
do it? And how
spin
do you
the bottle.
respond? Right? And do they
Your
really
turn.
know what they're doing? Do they answer each other's questions, or do they finish each other's sentences?
Not really, but what was amazing is that, I was only on the set for about 7 weeks, but in those 7 weeks I was there, not once did they ever disagree. Not once.
Is
It was
that
amazing.
right?
But, they'd wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and, just talk about the day's work, till 8, till they got on the set, and just incredibly professional.
Very.
They knew exactly what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. And in the morning, we'd get there and they'd say, okay, this is what we're going to do today. And sure enough, every day, whatever they said we were going to do is what we did.
So that was a great learning experience for you.
It's never going to happen again, I have a feeling, to work with people who are so punctual and so just precise, and they have it, it's in their mind.
But that's really professional and
Yeah.
really great, isn't it? I mean,
It's-
it's a learning. If more young people could work with people like
Oh.
that, I think the industry would change.
It makes, from an actor's standpoint, it makes the job so much easier, because you get on the set and you're told what you're going to have to do, and that's what you do.
Well, what about from an investor standpoint? Same thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can come in
Absolutely.
under
I
budget, or
think
you can.
they actually finished under budget. I'm not sure.
But I mean, that's the idea. When people come in and they kind of like, well, let's do 6 or 7
Right.
different ways of
Right.
doing one thing, where these people have a vision. I think that's what you see. That's what you see in their movies. You know that's what they're doing. So did you learn anything else? Any other tricks of the trade?
Well, not really. It was just the thing that really impressed me the most, actually, was about in the way they directed their actors. I mean, they weren't just there to say, well, I want you to act like this and do this. There was a scene where I'm supposed to be, well, I'm not supposed to be, I get executed. And it was Vittorio's turn to direct, so he came up to me and said, he didn't actually tell me what he wanted me, he just actually started acting out what was going through this young, and he started crying.
Oh, how great.
And I thought, my God. And then you get into a frame of mind, if this man is giving me this, I mean, I can certainly reach down and, you know, just not be inhibited and just do it.
This is what I would think a real director would do, like know how to do it and how to get the emotions out of you. Well, getting some other emotions out of you. What if you didn't go into acting? Did you ever think that you'd do anything else?
Well, I don't know what else I could do right now, but sports was, and still is to this day, the greatest regret of my life. I mean, if I had to do it all over again, I would be, I don't care, a golfer, a bowler, hockey, anything.
Are you good?
I'm one of those, I'm good at every sport. I'm not great in any.
But like a natural athlete?
Yeah.
What about a musician?
I love music. I play a lot of music.
What do you play?
I play the guitar and the keyboards.
I just thought you were going to say CDs.
Right, exactly.
I play a lot of music.
8 tracks.
Do you have have you ever been in a band or put a band?
No, I have a little 4-track and a 16-track keyboard at home, so I, you know, just sort of dabble in it. But it's actually a lot of fun.
Before we leave, we're leaving right away, so this could be a quick answer. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Vons. I don't know.
They may be sold. Come on.
10 years from now, I honestly see myself as a working actor. I think you have to want to be a star, and I don't want to be a star. I want to be a successful working actor.
Good. I think we've pegged you for that now. I see you as a star.
Okay.
Thanks for being with us, and thanks, Michael. We'll be back next time.